twirly thing. There we go. And we're live. So welcome to our Facebook Live on Insight Hounds Spotlight Day. And I'm really excited to be joined by Angie today. Angie's written a book that was completely inspired by her dogs. And I just so happen to have a copy here. So Beyond the Track, a Greyhound Love Story. And we're going to be finding out all about the book and Angie, how it came about, and a little bit more about everything that's gone into the book. So welcome.
Thanks, Claire. Thanks ever so much. This is just an opportunity. Thank you.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure. So before we get started delving into the book, you've got two ex-racing greyhounds at the moment. We've got Roxy and Duke. For anybody out there, can you tell us a little bit more about Roxy and Duke?
Roxy's the first dog that we got, and we adopted her 3 years nearly. It'll be 3 years in May. She started off being an absolute bonkers dog. I'm sure you'll agree. She was lively. But she was only 2 when we had her. She was only just 2 because she had to retire from racing because she broke a hock, which was surgically pinned. So, but she was a wild child. And then somebody told me that when they get to 3, then they'll be okay. She'll be fine at 3. And then she got to 3 and she was still bonkers. And then somebody else said 6, and I thought, oh my gosh, I think I'm gonna have to take her back. But no, I didn't. I'd never take her back. And then we had Duke. So we had Duke in September 2024. Yes, that's right. Yeah. Roxy, since we've had Duke, and probably in a couple of months before that, she's calmed down. She is very calm, and I'd say now she's the sensible one of the 2. I think you'd agree with that, wouldn't you, Claire? Because you know them both.
But if you knew Roxy at the start, to call Roxy the sensible one would
no, absolutely not. But anyway, so she's very sensible. She's very loving. She's basically Nigel's dog, because he chose her. He chose the name and all that lot. But she's just great. She's steady. She doesn't really like moving things at the moment. Little dogs that are off the lead in the park with this weather, she reacts to. And I react to the owners as well by saying, she's reactive, you better put your dog on the lead. But no, she's just great, absolutely fantastic, really stoical. Whereas Duke, chaotic or enthusiastic, shall we say. He's an absolute darling. He really is, but he's the naughty one of the 2. He's the ringleader. Whenever they go into the kitchen and empty the bin, it's never Roxy, and we look back on our camera in the lounge and we know it's Duke. He's got in there and he said, come on, Roxy, come and have some more out of this. Duke is driven by food. That's how Duke is driven. Roxy, not so much so, which is a shame because at the moment she's at the fat club equivalent for dogs. So it's a weight management at the moment because we had her at about 33 kilos and she's now 38 kilos. But hey ho, she's living life. Whereas Duke will eat anything and he doesn't put on any weight at all. So yeah. But between them, I like to think that they cover every personality in one house. Because
okay.
So yeah, that's really about Roxy and Duke. They're both just fabulous.
Oh, so you've written this book, which they both feature extremely heavily in. So can you tell us a little bit more about the book, Angie? What kind of was the inspiration behind the book? Was it something you'd always thought about doing? What made the book come about?
Right, well, I've always loved writing and reading. So I go back like 50 years. My grandfather was a cardiac patient, so he was often in hospital, and me and my brother used to go up and see him, and um, well, I would write him little stories. They were absolute probably nonsense, but I sat on his bedside. I remember it vividly, and
Oh,
I'd read him these things, so, and I'd leave them with him so he wouldn't be bored in hospital. So um
oh,
yeah, reading, I was an avid reader when I was a child. Under the covers, the torch when I should have been asleep. But yeah, so I loved reading, and then I did A-level English, which really spoilt it for me because you have to analyze everything, and it's not reading for pleasure. So for many
okay.
years, I really didn't read very much, to be honest with you. Um, so regarding the book, I didn't set out to write a book. I just started capturing memories.
Oh,
And the reason I did that was because before Duke and Roxy and Duke, we had another two greyhounds. There was an eight year time lapse between when Jess died and when we had Roxy. So Victor and Jess, I couldn't really remember much about them. I couldn't remember any exciting times. I know we loved them, um, but we never went on holidays with them. We never. I think the only time that they went in the car was when we went to the vet, because it was different then. You could feed dogs anything, so stew and whatever. Um, so it had changed really, and but I thought, oh, I've probably got some photos of them. But I mean, we had Victor, I think, around about 2004. That's what I think we
okay.
had him in 2004, and we had Jess the year later in 2005. And um, I didn't have any photos. I mean, we didn't have, the mobile phones or the iPhones that we've got now.
Yeah.
So I think that was probably why. But I did have a couple of photos of Jess, but that was on the day that we had to have her put to sleep. So
Oh,
that, and I just thought, well, what happens with Roxy and Duke? I won't remember anything. I've got no short-term memory anyway, but I won't remember all the lovely bits. So I just started jotting a few things down and putting notes on my phone when we were walking, all the quirky bits, because they are quirky. They're both quirky. I'm sure that Duke is autistic as well, which I think we agree on that in class. Um, and then I started typing up a few things because I've always wanted to write a book. That is one of my on my bucket list.
okay.
Not to publish it, just to write a book, because then I
Yeah.
can say I've written a book. And that was it really. So I've got scraps of paper. I've got about 15 notebooks up because that's the newest thing I've got. Um, on my phone I've got notes, and I just sort of turned it into my memories, or our memories as
Oh,
a family, because Roxy and Jig are definitely our family. Whereas Victor and Jess, I think, were more like, well, the dogs, you know. So, but yeah, and it's just being part of the Greyhound community this time round. We weren't part. They didn't really have a Greyhound community as such when we adopted Victor and Jess, but this community is just fab, and there's so many wonderful people that we meet, training, dog walks down the park. People I don't ever know, because we do attract interest of people, because you've got these two big black greyhounds,
the
and
twins.
yeah, the twins, and yeah, so that's why I did it. Really, that's why I wrote a book, and then it just snowballed really into having it published, which
Oh, but I think what I love about this is lots of people have these ideas going, I would like to do this in life, or I would like to do, and you made it happen, you know? you did it, and you got it over the line, and then you got it published, and I think that's such a huge credit to you to kind of go and push and do that, and over something that means so much to you as well, as you say, about your dogs and how they fit in your family, and the whole story about them is just beautiful. So if people were interested in the book, have you thought of a way you could even summarize the book or explain a little bit about what it's about?
I'm gonna have
It's
to look
too
at my
many
book.
things. There's
I'm
too, I mean, there's so much in there. For me, you have all about like the stories about your dogs. You have, oh, I love, one of my favorite parts is, we do this a lot in class. We talk about, what would your dog be thinking about there? What's your dog thinking? And I love that you've captured that in here. You talk about holidays, or you talk about events that you're doing, and then you're like, oh, Roxy, this is what, there's in quotes, isn't there? And this is what Roxy would say in this situation. And I love that. And when I've talked to people about feedback for the book, that's one of their favourite parts, because they're like, we've all got this narrative for our dogs. All of our dogs have got voices that are kind of saying certain things.
Yeah.
But you've captured it in a book, which is just incredible.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you for that. But I mean, yeah, I did decide to put in their voices because, as you say, we do it in class, and what would they be thinking? So it's my interpretation of what I think that they would say. Jukes is mainly around food, and Roxy's.
Of course.
But the actual book, I'm going to read about the book on the back of the book.
Okay.
Beyond the Track is the true story of two retired greyhounds, Roxy and Duke, and the family who welcomed them home. What begins as a simple decision to adopt becomes a journey of healing, joy, mischief, and unconditional love. From quiet forest walks and windy Welsh coastlines to the everyday chaos of stolen sofas, roaching in inconvenient places, and negotiating for cheese, this is a celebration of a family shaped by two hearts and an endless love that knows no bounds. It is tender, funny, honest, and full of the small moments that become memories we treasure most. And I think it is a true story. It's written by me, how I write and how I like to read. It's not a classic. If you want a classic, this one isn't for you. But if you want something that's an easy read and it's come from my heart, every single word has come from my heart in that book. And it's been amazing. It's been an amazing journey for me to write it and then edit it and then publish it. So yeah, it's
Oh,
it's healed me in more than it's healed me in many ways, mentally and
oh.
physically. So
That's
yeah.
so special. And you're right, that summary, you can't, it's quite hard to put into words, but actually that just does it perfectly, doesn't it? It sums it up perfectly. Have you been surprised by some of the feedback you've had, Angie?
Oh my gosh, yes. Absolutely gobsmacked. Am I allowed to say that? Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
hell yeah. Yeah, I've had, this is where I start to get emotional. I don't do emotion. Don't tell anybody. Um,
Nobody's
so
watching, we'll be fine.
that's fine. Yeah, no, I'm just talking to you. It's fine. Yeah, I've dried up, I'm afraid, because
Oh, that's fun.
I'm
It's
afraid.
because I'm asking you for feedback. It's because I'm asking you to go into that deep, raw emotion. I tell you what, let's go back a step. Where have you sold books? Let's go to that first, because that's incredible. And I was amazed when I heard some of this. So tell us some of the places you've shipped books to, or your books have landed in
Right.
people's laps across the world.
Okay, well, there's the two strands of how I'm selling my book at the moment. Now, I publish through Amazon KDP, so Amazon are doing their selling, okay, and I'm doing my selling. So I have put on a lot of the Greyhound groups in my own Facebook page, advertising it. Um, no pressure on anybody, but if you do want it, it's a bloody good read. No, so
It is. It's brilliant.
um, so as far as I'm concerned, I have sold to friends and family, work colleagues I've not worked with for years have contacted me for, and so if I can give them if I can give them, so like my family or to people at training, that's absolutely great. And then I've got a couple of agents, one being you, Claire, and one being Kate from Daybreak.
Yeah.
Shout out to Kate from Daybreak.
Yes.
Because occasionally I get a text, don't I, off you saying, can you bring another 2, please? Hello, it's your agent here. I think that was your last text to me when you wanted one. So the beauty of this, so I'll sell like hand to hand. If people are just around the corner or whatever, that's fine. I do sign those copies, and you do get a free bookmark as well. Just saying, but I will sign those ones. I've also posted out myself to Scotland, the north of England, Wales, southern England. So just so I can give you a rough idea, the book itself is £10. So if I hand deliver it to you, or it gets hand delivered, then it's £10. Okay. If I have to post it to you, it costs me £4.15. So I charge £15 for a book that goes via the post. But of the people who I've posted out to, they've been brilliant. They've texted me the money, they've sent the money over, they've texted me and said, I've sent the money over, here's my address. I text them with the receipt from the post office, because that was one thing I was worried about, was about it being lost in the post, or them saying that they hadn't got it. And I was just all things like that, because I don't, but these are very nice people, clearly. And then they send me back a photo saying it's here, I can't wait to read it. One lady sent me a message on Mothering Sunday, and it was a picture of her feet, basically. She was lying in bed, and she said, I'm just about to start your book, thank you. So it was, it's just
So
people.
personal.
I don't know who she is, but she's just thank you, whoever you are, if you are looking at this. Anyway, so that's the one side. So, but then the other side is the Amazon. Amazon will distribute it for me. Yeah. Again, the book is £10, and if you've got Amazon Prime, then it's free. Okay, I can't sign those copies, but that's fine. And so far, it's gone to the UK, but it's also gone to the United States, New Zealand, Europe, I think Germany. I think one of them was Germany and one of them was Spain. So, and that is just that's blown my mind, because I just thought, oh my goodness me, it's people I don't know. There's one person who was a friend of mine from work, and she's emigrated over to Australia, and I believe she got a copy from there. But it's just surreal. I'm just like, what is going on? This is bonkers. This is not happening. So, but yeah, and picking up, so the posting is only within the UK, because I did get a query from somebody from America who asked if she could have one posted to her. I did look at that, and the postage to America will be £15 or £14.50. So if anybody wanted a book that I send over to America that's signed, it's going to cost them £25. So, but that is but I haven't posted any over at the moment. But as you said earlier, sorry, the feedback that I've got was amazing. And the first bit of feedback was, and I'm going to name her because I just love the lady, Margaret. And hi, Margaret, if you're watching this now or catching up. And Indy's is her little darling greyhound as well. but Margaret actually posted feedback onto Amazon, and she'd only just started the book. And I was so moved by that. It was just wonderful. It just made me feel fantastic and spurred me on. So thank you, Margaret. You were one of the first people I met at Insight Hounds, and you're just such a lovely lady. So thank you. And thank you for your thank you card as well. Because after you wrote it, after you read it, you wrote me a card saying thank you, and that was wonderful. So and then I've got 5 reviews on Amazon at the moment, I think. I don't think there's any more gone
You're
on.
not checking it every 5 minutes?
No. Actually, I don't check it at
Have you
all.
Googled your name
Nick
yet? Are you a
tells me,
celebrity?
Nick says, "Oh, you've got a 5th one, Ange." I was just like, "Oh my goodness me, is it good?" So yeah, so perhaps I should encourage people to, if they've enjoyed the book, can they put a Facebook post on, or even if they haven't enjoyed the book, put an Amazon review on. But people are just so, so kind of had verbal feedback from a lady at church who doesn't like dogs. She said I really enjoyed that book. I mean, this is a 90-year-old lady from church who read it, and she's my friend. And she said, but she said it's not only about the dogs, it's about the emotions. And she said, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. When are you going to write another one? So I'm just like, ooh, yeah.
Pressure's
So
on. Pressure's on.
and then
Yeah, I
Maud
think.
as well. I have to mention Maud as well,
Oh, go for it. Yeah,
because
Maud's
Maud
wonderful.
had sent me a lovely thank you letter as well, and it was just fantastic, because Maud holds a special place in my heart as well, because we sat for a year or so side by side with our respective dogs, because Brian was her dog, and Roxy's boyfriend as well. And Roxy
Right.
and
Brian.
Brian, we had to stop canoodling in training classes. No
Oh,
fraternizing allowed, I think you said. No, you didn't say it like that. But yeah,
oh, they're
so
very sweet together,
and she,
aren't
she
they?
lost Brian
Mm,
um, a short while ago, and
mm,
we all felt it in the community, and I think that's
yeah.
really important that we, because we have lost our friends. We have
Mm.
lost our friends, Amber.
Oh,
So,
Amber was cracking.
so,
Oh,
and we've
yeah,
lost
Amber
Amber,
Brown.
but we've also lost, Jan and Jed. Although it's lovely when we meet up with them at events.
Yeah, and they're
Lovely,
lovely. They're still in the little
lovely dog.
community on Facebook. We get random photos of their dogs, which I love, and
Yeah,
they've got some more greyhounds now, and we get photos of those, and they keep in touch, which is really, really special, isn't it?
yes.
But
So
yeah,
it's
it's a
just,
lovely
yeah.
community.
So the feedback has been really positive, and it's just, I mean, I don't think people normally say negative feedback to your face, do they? But I think how they give you feedback reflects on what they're really feeling. So if someone says, "Oh, it was good," I'd read that as like, "Well, okay, it probably wasn't for you," Whereas they actually explaining why it was so good. So it's just made it all worthwhile, because it's not about the money. And I always say it's not about the money. Yeah, I get a couple of quid, for every book as royalties. I won't lie. I think that's all I do get. I think I get £2.63, I think, for each book, from Amazon KDP. But it's just about communicating with people. I love people. I just love being around people. And if I can share a bit of my life with people, that's great.
Yeah, and I think kind of for me especially, kind of coming back to today, is all about raising the profile of sight hands, and I think they have a lot of myths and misconceptions around sight hands and greyhounds in as well. Greyhounds have loads of misconceptions and myths about them, and seeing someone actually writing their story down and how much the dogs mean to them and how big a part, as you say, the dog plays in the family, and it coming from the heart, which it really does. I have to admit, when I was reading it, I was laughing and crying in equal measures, and I'm not normally that emotional over books, but the stories of the dogs were huge. And just going back to your feedback point, people have been talking to me about the books behind your back, but in a nice way. Like Margaret's come up to me and said, you know, Margaret, I've seen obviously in different situations, and she's been giving just wonderful feedback, and lots of other people have, and they're like, we're hearing more about Angie's book. Can we get another one? Can we get another one? Can we get a copy? And yeah, it's a beautiful read, and that's what the feedback that I keep getting as well. So they're saying it to your face, but I'm hearing the same things, so pretty sure it's accurate.
Thank you for that. That's great. I appreciate that. So, because, yeah, but people are just lovely, absolutely lovely.
Oh, that's wonderful. So, you mentioned your friend who's a 90-year-old woman asking if there's any more in the pipeline. That was going to be one of my questions. So the pressure's on. It's like, you've written one. It's like you get a greyhound, and we're like, when are you getting the next one? When are you getting the next one?
Right. I won't lie, there is one in the pipeline, but
Oh!
no, it's a big but. Okay.
It's bit butts. Go on then.
Yeah. I wrote alongside Beyond the Track. I wrote another book. I'm in the process of writing another book, and the reason is because it's actually about church life. As many of you know, I'm a Methodist. I'm a Methodist girl, and whilst our church is supporting Ocean Stars Trust, which is a charity for it was started off after the tsunami in 2004, and a lady came and talked to us at church about things that have been set up through because it's her trust that she set up schools and all sorts of things. It's all for children. So I thought after that, I was inspired. I thought, well, I'm writing Beyond the Track. Why don't I just write a few notes down and see if it would work? So I have started that as well, but all the proceeds of that will be going to Ocean Stars Trust. I'm not going to get a penny of it, myself, because I just think it's an amazing cause. So that is in the pipeline. I've virtually written most of it, and it's just about church life, and it's a bit of a tongue-in-cheek book. And because I've been in the Methodist Church for all of my 34 years, my 57 years.
My maths is not quick.
No, for all of my 57 years, and it's just things about, again, like Beyond the Track, the funny stories. So the stories at the communion rail, and the stories of prayer meetings, and the stories of the minister who collapsed on the way into church. So that's what I'm working on at the moment. As I said, I haven't worked on it for a couple of weeks. I only write when I want to write. I don't go, right, okie dokie, I'm going to write today. I will only write when I want to write, because that's the only way it can flow. There's no other way.
It's got to be quite well, I haven't written a book, so I have no idea, but I imagine it's a creative process, isn't it? And you've got to feel inspired and in the right mindset, I imagine, rather than trying to kind of force it. You want it to come naturally.
Yeah, definitely. So I think, and because I had a lot of opportunity at the end of last year, I had burnout end of October, start of November, and I had to stop work for a while because I was just exhausted. And for the first couple of weeks, I didn't really do much. I mean, I didn't go out the house. I didn't talk to anybody. I was in a really dark place. But the one thing I did still have was my dogs and my book. So most days I would disappear into Beyond the Track, writing little bits, and that was my escape route, and it was, and sounds daft, but it was healing me. It was really, really healing me. But alongside that, with my faith, and I'm not an evangelical person at all, but within my faith, I got a lot out of it. So I then started writing alongside. So some days I'd write Beyond the Track, and sometimes I'd write for A View from the Pew. With that's just a little bit that's just a working title at the moment. I'll work on that, but yeah, so that's helped me. I think that was my saving grace, writing either book through my period of long-term sick leave. And certainly Beyond the Track was virtually ready to go, well, edit and all that, and that's quite a long process. So I was focusing on that with editing and getting it ready for publication. And then with the church one, it was very much, I was writing all the stories, and my mind seemed to get quite busy in that time when I was poorly, but it certainly helped my mental health. Probably the best counselling I could have ever had in my life, I think, to be honest. But yeah, so that's but my brain's always going about new ideas at the moment, and I think that in the future I will probably write another Beyond the Track, because there's so much more material. There's all the training that we're doing now. There's the what's it called? What's that course I went on yesterday?
Oh, the outdoor focus.
The outdoor focus, because that is just brilliant. And so there'll be loads and loads more holidays. We're going away with them in 2 weeks' time to Woolacombe, so that'll be great. And yeah, so there is lots more material, but I need to park The View from the Pew. And there's also other bits of my life, like the Maguire program, which we've spoken about briefly, how that shaped my life. So it's, living with a stutter or a stammer. So that's potentially another one that I could do in the pipeline. But
so you've got the bug now.
I know.
You've got the bug.
I know. It's just, but again, it's just writing down the feelings, and it's just, yeah. So,
I love that you've taken kind of something that was so challenging for you and turned it into something so creative and special, and that the dogs help support you as well. That's really wonderful to hear. So, and yes, knowing Roxy and Duke, they are just the most brilliant characters. I'm very lucky I won't get to work with so many fabulous dogs with brilliant personalities, but Roxy and Duke are yes, one of my favorite Roxy and Duke moments. I have to mention, we did an Easter class a few weeks ago, and there was a little game where they were searching for tennis balls, and there was tennis balls in what was a muffin tray. And the idea was the dogs had to pick the tennis balls up, and then there was a treat underneath it. And we watched them, and Duke was managing to pick the tennis balls up. And every time he did, Roxy would go in and nab the treats from underneath them. And for me, that just sums up Roxy.
She's an opportunist.
And Duke, wonderful. And I love that Duke, if he gets a little bit tired, he'll just have a lie down in class, no matter where we are, mid-exercise. If he needs a nap, he'll just go, okay, I'm done, and have a little sleep.
I've done my 3 reps. That's it. I'm just done. Yeah,
they are brilliant.
But they are so different, but they've made our lives complete. I have to say, they have made our lives complete. It's like having children, but without the pain and the aggro. But yeah, well, it's just. So thank you ever so much.
No, thank you so much for putting your story about Roxy and Duke in Beyond the Track. As I say, I absolutely love reading it. I found it just so heartwarming, and it was very special. And thank you very much for the kind words about Insight Hounds in there as well. That meant and still means so much to me.
I only write what I speak. I don't lie. You have to have a good memory if you're going to lie, and I haven't got a very good memory. So
Oh, well, thank you so much for your time today, Angie, and coming on and talking all about your book and your inspiration and how it all came about and your sales all over the world. So thank you so much for sharing that and sharing about the dogs. And I will see you very soon.
Thanks ever so much. Thanks, Claire. Thanks anybody who's watching or with catch up. But yeah, thank you everybody.